Folks, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show. It's really great to connect with a legendary cat. A cat who's been on the road, marinating in Colorado. Now he's down here in Tucson, Bloomstone, among other things. Joe Lessard, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
Do you feel like this is, I mean, it might be evident to you, self-evident, but explain to the people about this. This is your purpose in life. Music is your purpose in life.
It has ended up to be apparent that it's my main purpose, or at least, what kind of has connected me most to other humans, which is the value I see in it the most. But like meeting these Bloomstone cats has been a huge value out of thin air, you know.
What's an example of the value?
I mean,
like gratitude or something?
Soul.
Like, I mean, soul. Yeah. Soul, man.
Like, the sheer joy I get from
playing. It's not some bean counter shit.
No, exactly. No, the sheer joy I get from playing music and connecting with people through it, and honestly, playing original music and arranging and that composing kind of production side is a part that keeps me really excited and engaged. So making music away from the stage, is important too.
Do you feel like your family in general, like they may not understand your path, but they respect and they respect your path? Or did they get it from day one?
I mean,
you are like you're putting your apparatus within every genre of music, dude.
Yeah.
Bluegrass, the traditional fiddle stuff. But the family.
Well, I came from a big family, small nuclear family, but on my mom's side, she's the oldest of 8, and that is a musical family. The Starr family clan was a big instrumental in bringing.
Were they touring, going to town to town?
They were like classical musicians and instructors. They had a lot to do. My grandparents had a lot to do with bringing the Suzuki method to the U.S. and intimately knew the Suzuki family and traveled back and forth to Japan a bunch. So that was very formative to my life, is their connection to music. So I will say that they did understand the path of music. I think they didn't understand my route in it necessarily.
So explain that, because they were more coming from a codified kind of thing where it was like,
or just more classical world. I mean, my grandparents played with all sorts of cats, and when they lived in Knoxville, they played with Isaac Hayes and Johnny Cash and a bunch of cats
they were at Stax?
Just as pit musicians, for performances.
Let me ask you.
So they get the music path, but I think the hip hop and the bluegrass and the
maybe they're in awe of it,
parts
though.
of
They're in
music
awe of it a little bit too.
There was no pushback.
I mean, the way I look at it with my kids is like it's always about like producing individuals that are far beyond you, and like they have to look at that and say, "Lessard, my dear son, way beyond."
Yeah. No, I think trying to take that legacy to the next step is a fun thing.
Can you talk about like, do you practice? Like Jim Hall and Sonny Rollins, like their idea of practice was just playing beyond what they knew. Sonny was on a bridge, or they were improvising. Like, I'm just wondering what your practice routine looks like.
I wish it was more regular, and
Do you play enough where your chops are up, where you don't need to practice?
Yeah, but no, I need to practice. And when I practice, I'm happier.
Where do you need to grow the most as a musician?
When I practice, I'm a happier person and a more self-confident person.
Right.
I work it in almost every day. But as I've become an older adult, man, it's harder to make it really, really fit every day. But at the same time, like having projects, whether that's tracking in a studio or learning songs for a performance, keeps me focused. I think improvisation in odd keys has been a big focus for me, and Grant's writing specifically, and now kind of Ryland's and this whole Bloomstone group has and Chris, of course, too. They're great musicians and push me into chord progressions and styles I'm a little less comfortable in, and so this has been a real good stretch for me.
Would you say what kind of style is it? Like more like rock fusion kind of stuff?
Yeah, and even just the soul stuff. I mean, I'm coming from like more. What I'm super used to is that 1/4/5 bluegrass, like
Bill Monroe
pretty
kind
straightforward, like chordally stuff. So stepping outside that to some of these more like almost horn-friendly keys or singer's keys, and the soul chords that are a little less just the 3 chords and the truth type of vibe. Has been really fun to explore. So.
I wanted to ask you, you're the perfect person to ask because I'm fascinated. I've interviewed Peter Rowan and David Grisman and Bill Keith, and all those guys learned under the tutelage of, not Grisman actually, but Bill Monroe was the key.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a trap drummer.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to talk about how you've learned to coexist, like how you fit in with a trap drummer, Ryland specifically.
Yeah, and Ryland, it's funny,
because you probably played without a trap for a long time.
Oh yeah, Head for the Hills, the bluegrass band I played with, I've still play in for 20 years now. Had no drums for a long time, just had a mandolin player, and and
like an upright bass
yeah,
fiddle.
so all those elements still remain, except the mandolin got traded for drum, the trap kit at some point.
Wow.
And now, and the kid that we play with is also a young cat named Riley, actually, who's amazing, kind of jazz chops, just like Ryland, and an amazing cat that brings it honestly to kind of the next level.
Never ever land on me right now.
So, but yeah, dude, honestly, it frees me up a lot, because a lot of what I was doing in those drumless bluegrass settings was
rhythm,
chopping and playing that mandolin role, especially when the mandolin wasn't there.
Yeah, dude, it's so great.
And it's really fun to play with mandolins with that setup too, because they end up intertwining and playing against the snare in a really interesting way. Like Drew Emmett from Leftover is an amazing example of someone who weaves in with the snare, and their drummer Alwyn now is amazing too. So watching the kind of like bluegrass thing formulate in that way is pretty exciting, and watching and doing it with this Bloomstone group is even a different thing, So it's great.
What do you think? If people that are going to watch this in 5 minutes, 50 years, long after we left this planet, what do you feel makes Bloomstone a cut above the morass of all the other quintets or quartets that are rocking out there?
Man, it is just different, all those other quartets have their
Grant
have
can
their
sing
own,
too.
Have their
Grant,
own
you got a
identity
singer. You
too.
got a singer though.
Oh, we have a serious.
singer,
a vocalist.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. Yeah,
to the point where you're like, oh yeah, no, that dude can sing the phone book. There's no question. Never out of tune. He can do all the stunts and the gymnastics and all the crazy shit, and just write really great stripped down songs as well. So to me that's kind of all of it. That's the best of the worlds. If you can shred the riffs and write really sensitive kind of bare material that translates in that way too, that's a lot. That says a lot.
Before I let you go, we'll do this, maybe do a telephonic interview too, but what's your message to people that are, in the dark? Artists that are, that's why I asked you about your purpose in life, because then everything falls away. Like all the expectation, all the Western dogma, that falls away.
Yeah.
But for the people that are in the dark, what's your message to them?
Find the light in what you do, and don't. I think it's easy for us to we're all our own, worst critics, and it's easy to dim your own light, and dim your own creativity,
unnecessarily,
and also just to, I don't know. I'm most excited. On a musical tip, I can only give so much advice in any.
Was
way,
there a point
even musically,
when you've been in a malaise?
But
when you've been in a malaise, what was inspiring? Was there an example of a time that you can share where you were really kind of burned out and you didn't know, and you got inspired?
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, like when a song hits you or something, yeah, people doing something. To me, that's the value of making music, is in living, is doing something new and doing something valuable to you and the core of people that you're doing that thing with. So to me, that's what can pull me out of the funk.
You
And that
realize, though,
can be-
scientifically, what you're doing is unquantifiable.
Yeah, and it's that, and in that way, it's
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
sick.
insanely magical.
Sonically sick.
And just getting together with people that because I barely knew
Yeah.
these dudes, and even people I have made music with for decades. There's always some new spark to find, and there's always some cool kind of little idea that somebody's been sitting on that you just been like, you had that idea in your back pocket this whole time, like, you fucker. So that I think that's a real.
You guys are your own
fun
shrinks,
little-
dude. You guys come out of your shell,
like,
dude.
come on,
Yeah.
motherfucker. Building up the other person up enough that they feel like
Sure.
they can share those ideas. I've always, I've made a little bit of solo music, but I'm like a band musician.
Sure.
Through and through, and because I just appreciate collaboration, and I feel like anyone that I've become close musically with, like, is gonna make my ideas better, like, or at least be a springboard for those ideas, and we can.
You know what? And the best thing is that you are secure enough to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
As opposed to people that are shut off.
I
I'm
just-
willing to see the.
I live to
you
bring
what-
that life to other people's songs too. So and if they'll let me in, that's it. So,
Joe Lessard, love you, man. Thanks for
yeah,
being part
love
of the
you,
show
Jake.
program, man.
Thanks for
The
having
Jake
me,
Feinberg
dude.
Show. Set
Cheers.
2. We'll see you later.
Cheers.